What up? Hello. Hello, hello. Um, yeah, whenever that site is populated again, I will ping you guys. I think it's fixed. Let me see. Oh, yeah, it is. You can refresh it. You can refresh it, or you can do exclamation point, WeebCon at any point. Um, we did some merch through Novel Horizons contacted me for to do a meet and greet, and I agreed. And then they were like, "Do you also want to do merch for the convention?" And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I was like, how much stock though? Like, what if we don't sell blah blah? And they were like, I'll just put up on the site after if we have anything extra, and then we'll do it as a limited drop, and that'll be it. And I was like, okay, so that's what this is. Um, this is merch that we made specifically for WeebCon. We don't have a lot of some of these things. Yeah, the metal cards sold a lot, and there were only 200 total of each ordered. So they are completely limited. We will not do these ones with these designs again. They are just gonna be like a collectible. Like that's it. Um, so yeah, the metal cards especially, we're never doing those exact ones again. So if you wanted any of that stuff, it is there. If you weren't able to go to the con, because I don't love selling merch at a con that like only lives there. Like no one else can get it unless they physically go there. You know, I like that for some things, but for something like this, that's like very collectible, I thought it'd be nice to open up. So we have that. We have the posters, and we also have some keychains. These, I really love the art on them. I really, really, really love the art that we got um, for both. This artist named Melty, who's really great. Work on them. They're just so good. So this art that is on the metal cards is also on the posters. So if you like the art and you actually want to display it in a form that's not like, you know, card sized, it exists. So it looks like these two. We got one for main outfit and one for Inquisitor outfit, because we're going to release the main outfit again soon. There you go. Okay. So these two right now are available on the site as posters, and as there's a collectible metal card. So if you wanted to get them and you couldn't go to WeebCon, I wanted to make sure they were available. But again, there's super limited quantity. At any point, you could do exclamation point WeebCon just to find that. Let me put that in the title, actually. So if you... Limited time merch. Boom. Okay, okay. I put it at the end of the title, so if you forget and you're like, let's change the next series. You're like, what was that thing again? What was the link again? There it is. Okay. A lot of the metal cards sold at the con. So if you wanted these, because I know a lot of people were like, damn, I wish I could have gotten one, but I can't physically go. You should buy them like quicker. I don't know exactly how many are left, and I don't know exactly how many people are going to want to get them on the site, but they're like, you know, we did not order a lot of them. So we don't have a lot of them. Sakura walked up to the booth and bought like 6. Sakura was like, let me get 6 of each. There were a few people that did that at the con. That's why I know like a lot of them definitely went. They were kind of tracking for me, and there were quite a few people that bought for friends that couldn't go to the con, so they would like walk up and be like, let me get 5 of each, let me get 10 of each. So yeah, I don't know exactly how many are left, but I wanted to make sure they're on the site in case anyone wanted any. So whatever we had left is being sold there. And there you go. And it's going to be for a limited time. If they sell out before that, they do. If they don't, limited time, and then it's done. Okay? Got one of each from GEEGA. Mike. Yeah, Mike's card looks so cool, man. It looked so good, man. The art on his was crazy. Absolutely crazy. Um, but yeah, I've actually really liked doing this kind of stuff with this team. I really like their merch pipeline. Like, it's been going really well. There's some other people have cards too, that were at the con. I know Ari has one. We've got I think, yeah, Freem, Froggy, I'm pretty sure has one too. A bunch of people that did basically meet and greets through the booth. They did actually I don't think Froggy has a metal card, but she has other stuff with the site that I think might not even be available anymore. I think it was sold out, but I really liked the merch that they did for some people. I want to show you Quite's metal card. This shit is sold out, by the way. Look at look at his metal card. It's what a collectible. Yari's might be sold out. That's the thing about doing merch with them. They were like, oh, you could put whatever you want on the card. And I was like, are you sure? And they're like, oh, yeah, look at Quait's. It's like, damn, okay. Okay. It was so funny. So fucking funny. But yeah, I've always done stuff with the novel for like booths, like getting meet and greets done whenever I didn't do it at like the con itself was like a whole thing like that. Um so yeah, I was happy to do this, and yeah, it turned out super well, and apparently these things are dropping, like, or not dropping, shipping like instantly. Like if you buy one, as soon as they get the order, like within that day, they're sending that shit out. So you know, I'm always a fan. I didn't love that for Hunt Week we had to put some stuff on pre-order, but that was because we didn't even know the sponsorship and the outfit was happening until like 2 months before the date, so we couldn't get those things to be stocked first. But yeah, I always prefer when it's like stocked ahead of time. So this stuff will be, you know, going. Ours posters sold out, but there's still cards left. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like some stuff, it's just limited stock. It's whatever they have, and it's for a limited time even. So, you know, whatever they got, they got. You get what you get. And you know, if you want the Quite card, unfortunately, the Quite card with the whole bakery is sold out. So I like the cards though. The middle card, like, it has a nice sheen to it. And it's, I don't know. I just like things that feel heavier in the hand. Because for me, I love like cards and trading things and whatever, but I can't stand that they, even though I know they're expensive, and I know some of them are valuable and rare, the fact that they are just paper scares me. I don't know, something about it. I'm like, it doesn't feel expensive, even though I know it is. So having like the metal trading card, I really like. I don't know, it just feels significant or something. Or something. And the poster and card cousin Quitter outfit is too good. Yeah, and I really like the art that they did for it too. Like, I love that everyone keeps drawing me with like moonlight in the background and stuff. Like, it lets the vibes of these things always look good. So whenever I have like in my office here, I have posters of myself framed and things around, and like they all fit because they're all within theme. You know what I mean? Yeah, but grab one. Good, good, good. Merch idea: tungsten cubes. Yeah, and then it'll be like $1,000 to ship. Sick idea, dude. I don't even disagree. Like, I'd love to do it if I could, but you know that shipping would be crazy. I'd go to a merch partner and be like, yeah, I can't wait to do that tungsten cube, and they'd be like, yeah, that'll be $1 billion. How much would the cube itself even be? I don't even know. I've never looked into buying one. I never really wanted a tungsten cube personally. Are those expensive? V-Shoujo MLB collab? I would actually love to do things like that, and then we like are all in a baseball uniform. I love like campy thematic things. Like when we did the Maid Cafe and everyone had art for the Maid Cafe, right? And it's just like a really strong theme. Or Senpai Squad and everyone has like a racing themed outfit. I love stuff like that. What team would you be? I'd have to be the Mets. I would have to be on the Mets. I can't be on anything else. There's no way. There's just no way. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. There we go. There's just no way, man. Mets fans. Thing is, I was never like a huge baseball fan. I just enjoyed, I mean, when you go to games, it's a fun experience. Even if you don't care about the team at all and you don't care about the sport, you can still have a lot of fun at ball games. Like it's a nice thing. You're just sitting there hanging out, nice weather, eating food. You're talking to the people next to you. You're hanging out. So like I always really liked baseball games, like going to them. I never really cared about baseball. Like I really don't give a fuck. But I've been to a lot of ball games because the activity itself is fun. And you know, if you're like a student, you get a lot of free games you can go to, or there's certain days, certain times where they're very cheap, you know? So I would do that because I just wanted something to do with friends and we just wanted to hang out. We didn't want to spend $1 billion, you know? So I loved doing that. Absolutely loved doing that. And I usually went to Mets games. The Yankees were okay. I like the striped uniforms, but it's the Mets. Went to a baseball game in Korea once. It's huge energy. Dude, Korea and Japan, they have a huge baseball scene, especially Japan. Huge. I didn't realize. I didn't realize. And if I'm gonna sit there and watch a game, I much prefer basketball or soccer. Those are the two that I think are the most fun to sit there and watch if you actually care about the sport. And yeah, the energy is crazy, but no, some baseball games they're insane. They're insane. Go try a Cubs game if you're out in Chicago. The vibe in Wrigley is just too good. Yeah. I actually haven't been to a game, but I've seen so many videos, and I've had friends go and be like, "Oh, I went and saw the Cubs, and it was great at the stadium." And they would say like the food is good and the atmosphere is nice. So, yeah, it's fun. College football is top tier. Yeah, being in the stands. I like live events and stuff. I love watching like sports live. I just I don't like watching them on TV much. I get like nothing from them. I think the only thing I watch remotely would be just Formula One. That's it. Literally like just F1 and everything else I find so like not exciting to watch. Sometimes videos like compilations of plays in certain games can be good, but sitting there and watching a whole game and on the TV, not really a fan. I feel like it's more of a thing that people do with family or with friends that are over. Like you leave it on the TV and you're kind of watching it, but you're also kind of just talking, you know? You went to the International for Dota 2 once. The smell. I used to love stuff like LCS. And if I was on a business trip, I was out west, and LCS was also happening, I'd make sure that I could go see it. At least one of the days, I would make sure I could make it. So I actually watched a lot of LCS like back in the day, live. That was fun because I had enough trips where I had to be out there for work, so I was able to kind of do that. But sometimes the smell, man. Sometimes the smell was just not it. Watch Rally Car at all? I have a little bit, but not like regularly. I don't know any of the people's names. I'm not aware of like any of the meta around it, you know? I've just like seen some videos and been like, oh, that's cool. I like watching racing and things related to that in general. I don't like NASCAR. So wish Lewis was still in Mercedes, but I think Mercedes was trying to screw with his car. He seemed like really, yeah, I'm not happy with that. I don't know. I want to watch F1 live, but the cost is crazy. It's definitely like a bougie rich person thing, which is apparent because you look at the brands and how much money they spend on this shit, and it's crazy how much these cars cost. It's I feel like there are regular sports, and then one tier up we have like anything related to horses, right? Equestrian and betting on racing. And then you have one tier up above that, and it's like Formula One in the super expensive tier. It's so hard to even get tickets to some of those things sometimes. And I've only been able to go to things when I'm not paying for it, right? When there's some sort of like thing, like you get tickets because you did something else, you won tickets because of this or whatever. Like I've only ever gone because of that, or if there's like a standing room area like outside of it. Some people do like tailgater parties outside and stuff. That is the most I've done. I've never like paid for a ticket to go sit there in the stands. It's just crazy. It's crazy. Verstappen's having so much car trouble. I know. And you know, if he had a good car, he'd be killing it. It's him. But yeah, it's insane. LCS was fun to watch, but lost its magic. The gap between regions just kept widening over time. I know. Well, esports just doesn't have a lot of money in it, and it never did. And like a lot of other sports, when you can get spectators to really care and be fans of your teams, whatever, you can make a good amount of money. But esports has never gotten to that point. And it might look huge. You look and you see all the people sitting in the crowd, and you hear the hype, you see all the posts, and you're like, wow, people really love this. But there isn't really a lot of cash flow going in because there's all these people sitting there and watching it live on Twitch for free. At most, they get served an ad, which pays a little bit of money to whoever's broadcasting, right? They're not even like, they're not monetizing it, and it's hard to monetize it. It's almost impossible when this has always been like, honestly, gaming in general has always been a hobby that is really low cost for the amount of time you spend on it compared to other things. Why do you think it's so unprofitable? Is it simply that you can't really sell sports goods? No, it's a lot of things. Number one, it's too accessible for free. Okay, it's esports started up in like the FGC and everything like that. And I'm going to say this right now. There's always been this attitude that people have had, and I don't mean a bad attitude, I'm just saying a general attitude toward content, where they feel like if you're sharing content, making content about something you like, then it shouldn't be a job. It has to be a passion. And if you want to monetize it, you want it to like make you money, you want to lock something behind a paywall, you're an asshole for that. People have always like been like that. I think only very recently have they been like, it's okay to put work into stuff and want to get paid. You know, that's a very recent thing. But content creators have always had that issue, especially people who are doing things within a niche community. So when you're like in the FGC, if you wanted to have a tourney happen and then you wanted to stream it and you're like, I want to make it pay-per-view, people would be like, what the fuck, this is everyone's hobby, you should you know, like they would freak out, and they'd call you like a dirty bastard for like trying to make any money from it, you know. And if you're like, oh, it's for the prize pool for the people, they'd be like, we should all be able to watch, we're all fans. They would lambast you for it, right? So yeah, they want you to suffer for money, you shouldn't like what you do. Exactly. It's tough. That's just the attitude. So then whenever we get to the point where esports are getting bigger, it's not just the FGC now, we have Twitch and YouTube as a vehicle to live stream things, etc. Now we've got this whole thing going on where that attitude is sort of carried over. So if you run an esports team and you want to monetize it, you try hard to monetize it, people start calling you greedy, and they start like looking at you negatively instead of seeing it as they're just trying to keep this shit going because they need to make enough money to pay their staff and their players, right? Like I see it as that, but a lot of people are like, I'm just watching the thing I like, it shouldn't cost me much. It's just, that's how it is. And then, you know, how do you get people to come and watch an esports event? It's not really that much more appealing to sit there and watch it in person compared to sitting at home and watching it, other than that you're sitting in a crowd, but you're still looking at a screen, right? There's no difference sitting there looking at it live. There's no three-dimensional ARG shit happening in front of you. You're just looking up at a giant screen above the players. So a lot of people feel that the difference between just watching it at home and watching it there is not big enough. And then it's gaming, so a lot of the people that are into it are a bit antisocial, so they actually don't see the appeal of the crowd. Like some do, but not as many as like sports fans, right? The percentage of gamers that want to watch shit live because they love the crowd vibe is a lot lower than like sports fans, you know? So I think it's fun. I like it. But that you know, makes it a tougher sell to the existing audience that wants to watch that shit in general. And yeah, so there are a lot of factors that just make it hard to set up events that people will come to that you won't lose money on because, you know, you need people to buy tickets. When you have an esports team, the only way to get people to pay them really is to get them sponsored, which is usually how they do it. That's how they make most of their money. or to sell merch, which people do. Oh, my CLG jersey because I love CLG, you know, stuff like that. Like that's a thing, but that doesn't make that much money. The margins are not high enough, and you don't sell enough merch that's paying all of your staff, right? That just doesn't happen. So typically esports teams show up, someone with some big name in esports or gaming or streaming or whatever content is like, I want to make a team, I want to do this. They pitch their idea of their pool of people that are going to make this team and what they're going to play, etc. Maybe some players that they're trying to pick up early to investors, and then someone will invest, or they get early sponsors, which is a little different from investors, but it's one of the two to start up typically. And there you go. And then they just go until their money runs out. And they hope they can keep getting people investing who are not going to get any return, or they hope sponsors will keep sponsoring. And there are only just so many sponsors that are in the gaming space. It's really actually crazy how much gaming like doesn't make money. When you get a gaming sponsor on a YouTube video, you do a 1-minute ad, depending on how many views your videos tend to get. I'd say, you know, 100,000 view video, if that's what they're expecting, they might pay you at most $1,000 to put an ad on that video. Probably not. Probably a couple hundred for a lot of people. They're just, oh, here's a couple hundred. We're releasing this game. Put this 1-minute ad in your video. Not pretty good money for low effort, yeah. But if you make, you know, one video a week and you only manage to get a sponsor for like one of those a month, that's not buying you a house, you know? And like, you know, it's not bad at all, but it's not enough to support like an esports team, right? But that's how much gaming, you know, videos you might make. It's a big range though, I will say, but it depends on the industry you're in. So gaming is like that. I knew someone who was making videos on finance, financial advice, credit cards, investing, stuff like that. Dude made like a video a week, and the videos were getting 30 to 40,000 views each. Had like a couple 100,000 subscribers, okay? So pretty good, but nothing insane. However, the financial sponsors, like a credit card company or something like that, they would pay this guy like $1 per expected view. Okay, so this guy would be like, oh yeah, you know, my average views on a video after a month of them being live is usually like 30K views. And they'd be like, okay, here's 30K to put this 1-minute ad in a video. The financial sponsors, if you make financial content, if that's the caveat, right? Like if you're making financial content, then they'll want to put their ad on your video. Those people would pay so much. So different industries and different advertisers and different demographics affect how much like you're gonna get right from these people on average. It's crazy. So the thing is, when you have like an esports team, who's sponsoring you? It's gonna be like gaming peripherals, Corsair, right? You're not getting like Amex coming in, you know what I mean? You're getting very different industries that are coming in and wanting to sponsor. So that's the why esports has the same formula as like regular sports, but they're not getting that kind of money because they don't have those kinds of sponsors coming in that are like, yeah, here's me sneezing out $1 billion on you, you know? But also, it's hard to get gamers to spend money on shit. Gamers on average are a bit smarter with their money. They really care. They like to be a bit more meticulous on average, not all of them, with their money, where they sit there and they like to look through reviews first. Do I really need this? You know, and a lot of them also, yeah, don't have a ton of money. So, you know, it's just a lot of people don't have a lot of money, and the ones that do are on average more careful with it. So it's hard to sell them stuff, you know what I mean? It's just hard, but there are other demographics that are really easy to sell stuff to sometimes. So the sponsors in those areas know that they get more bang for their buck, so they are willing to pay more to sponsor someone for the same amount of time, same amount of views. You know what I mean? So it's tough, but that's kind of generally like how it works, man. It's how it works. You know? And you know, TLDR, not much money coming in because of it being hard to get money out of that audience. So it won't work. It won't work, man. That's why, you know, actually something that's really interesting is male VTubers, while they may on average have lower viewership, than a lot of female VTubers in the indie sphere, at least. Like on average, it tends to be the other way around. Their ability to sell merch is really, really good. Really good, like percentage wise. The percentage of their fan base that will buy merch is higher because women, on average, globally in all industries, just buy merchandise of things they're fans of more than men do. They like to buy cute little things. Oh, a little keychain. Like they're more likely to do that. And that's why, like, when it comes to K-pop groups, J-pop groups, things like that, the male groups that are going toward a female audience sell way more merch and make a lot more money in that kind of way. And that's why a lot of like female K-pop groups, their merch just kind of sucks. They don't even try super hard because they're like, the men aren't really gonna buy them that much of this thing or that thing, you know. It's just how it is. So it's really interesting how like your demographic affects that just so much. It's always been a thing. Exactly. Yeah, women do shop more. They do shop and get little things. I think part of it is cultural, just because, you know, traditionally back in the day they were the ones shopping and the men didn't have the time to do that. You know.
Stop being a stinky male gamer and buy merch. MHM.
I think in the VTubing sphere it's a bit more even. So there's still a lot more women that will buy more merch, whatever. But I think men buy more VTuber merch and anime related merch and gaming related merch than they do like anything else, any other industry. Or the percentage of them that do, I should say. I think that ratio is a little better. But I think that's also because the merch is better overall. I think the merch is just cooler in this industry a little. So that's probably a big factor, to be honest. Right? Like, I'm like, oh, here's this metal trading card. And a bunch of dudes are like, yo, that trading card's cool. It's metal. I like it. Right? But then, you know, you buy a K-pop album and they're like, here's a photo card in it. It's a piece of thick paper with a selfie on it. Okay. Right? Like, all right. Not cool to have, but not like so impressive that you're gonna spend a ton, you know? It's interesting. Said, whereas male fans are more likely to spend gold engraved Hatsune Miku stopwatches to show off instead of trinkets that they actually appreciate. No, I think they actually I think dudes are more likely to, instead of buying a lot of little things, to buy like one big cool thing. I find. Curious how all the merch dockies of the male mods sell more. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Mm-hmm. Never thought I'd buy underwear with Kuro's face on it, but here we are. Here we are. I don't know. I just think like it's so interesting studying up like what works and what doesn't. I was when I heard, again, this is like a friend of mine that does YouTube and started doing finance stuff a while back. When I heard how much he made for a sponsor, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, what am I doing? Like, but that it's a lot of work, genuinely. It's a lot of work that he has to do for these videos because he has to be properly informative. He's literally advising on things relating to finance, right? So like, he's got to be very careful, make sure he's just being objective and factual and unbiased. And because his channel's like that, he gets those sponsors, you know? And it's a lot of research. It's a lot of keeping up with a lot of shit. So he does spend a lot of time to then get that video week done. But still, dude, getting like 30K a week, at least 15K a week, depending on which sponsor came through. We'll knock it down. He was getting at least 15K a week per sponsor. I was like, what the fuck? What? For videos that are getting 30K views? Like, if you get that many views on a video and you do one per week, but you don't take any sponsors on them, and you're in gaming, so maybe you get like a couple hundred for a sponsor once a month or something, you're going to be losing money on YouTube. You're not going to make money because not enough ads play, you know? So this dude making this much, I'm like, what the fuck is that? Oh, you probably had to pay for an education in order to talk about this stuff in the first place too. No, he has an education in something else. He's a smart dude and can research, hence why he's able to make these videos. And he just got really into it. But no, He's not even like his schooling wasn't even in finance. It was just what he got interested in. It's crazy, man. You heard YouTube's gonna start forcing more mid rolls. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. When I sit and eat food, I sit in front of my big old TV at my kotatsu and I sit there and eat. And I play usually a YouTube video or something on Netflix, right? And some of these ads, man, unskippable 1 minute ad, a minute into the video. Okay. And then 2 minutes, 3 minutes later, another like 35-second unskippable ad. And I'm like, this is why I stick to Twitch. This is why I stick to Twitch. Because assuming you're being good and you have no ad block on and you're watching all the ads, you're not subbed to someone on Twitch. Most streamers don't do more than 6 minutes per hour. That's the maximum you can usually run. And most of them keep it to where I keep it, which is the minimum to get your ad revenue at the proper cut, which is 3 minutes per hour. It's like nothing compared to TV and compared to YouTube. YouTube is still less than TV. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I'm gonna get premium. I'm gonna get YouTube premium because I watch enough of it. I just should, and I don't have a subscription for any TV service, so whatever. But I have every 30 minutes that happen on stream, we have 1.5 minutes of ads playing in that somewhere. That's it. That's it. And I feel like that's the most I can handle sending out to people. It's the minimum. 3 minutes per hour is the minimum you can have on Twitch to get your proper split. If you do less than that, you can set it to less, but the amount you get per ad watch is like so low. It just, you lose so much money doing that. So I was like, okay, I'll set it to the minimum. And that's it. I can't turn it up, man. I can't do it. I'll play it at opportune times. Maybe if I'm like getting up and going and grabbing water. Okay, maybe I'll play an extra ad because nothing's happening anyway. But like outside of that, I don't know. I can't do it. I can't do it. That's why you got Twitch Turbo. And yeah, Turbo's too good, man, right? It's too good. You've been on premium since freshman year. You've spent like maybe 800, but at least you don't get ads. I mean, if you watch that much YouTube, it makes sense, to be honest. Could you explain from a content creator's perspective why you have 3 to 4 YouTube channels? Oh, yeah. Very simply, people's behavior and how the algo builds off of that affects how you separate out your content. If I had a YouTube channel and I put everything on there, I put content where I'm talking, I put content where I'm gaming, I put content where it's like clips of me. I have varying lengths. Some videos are 20 minutes, some are 5 minutes, whatever. You don't build an audience that regularly comes back doing that. Because people always want extreme consistency. So if you watch one video, it gets recommended to you, you've never seen that channel or that creator before. It's a 10-minute video of someone doing a mini documentary on animals. Right? They're like, this is a kestrel. And you're like, oh, wow. And it's some guy voicing over video. If you liked that video, you're very likely to click on that guy's channel, look for more of the same. What other 10-minute mini documentaries about nature does this guy have, right? You're going to look for the same thing. That's the average, like, human behavior on YouTube. So if you set up your channel to be like that, like they're going to find more of the same or something that feels similar, they will binge your videos. If stuff is super different, they just won't. And then the algo, it basically is like, oh, people are clicking on your channel and not watching through a lot of your videos, which means that one video was good, but your channel isn't good. So we're not going to recommend you anymore, right? And it just nerfs your channel. And then you build a nice audience that way, you know? People get used to some sort of consistency from you. It's the same thing on TV, right? You watch a show. That show is the same length every time. It has that fixed cast with some people rotating. It has the same kind of format, and it shows up weekly, same day, same time, right? So that consistency means you can trust it. If you subscribe to this channel, you know you're going to get what you're looking for. And that's it. And that's why you separate things out. So I have like my main channel, which has more infrequent videos, but they're more effort and editing put into them. And they tend to be more about talking, less about just straight up gaming. There's gaming in there too, but it's like talking or it's me collabing with people. It's more social oriented. And then I have my second channel, Highlights, which is more gaming oriented or just more like this was a thing we obviously did on stream kind of content. Whereas like on the main channel, a lot of that isn't always done on stream. It's stuff I film for it, right? So it's a different vibe. And then I have a clips channel, which is just its own thing. It's much shorter, bite-sized, not edited that much. You know, some things are longer because it's a rant, whatever, but it's just clips. It's lower effort. And then I have a VODs channel, which, again, that's another thing you shouldn't mix the beams on. So that's how I have it. And they're all doing well because of that, because they're separated. If they were together, they wouldn't. Toad, thank you for the 10. Thank you for the 10 gifted. Also, Anna, thank you for the 2 months. Bud, the Spud, thank you for 2 months. Scrolling down, Filthy Corpo for 17 months. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Hi, Alfie. Alfie, how do you know all this? You can just look it up, man. You can spend time. There are content creators who make videos about these things. There are things you can read everywhere that tell you these things. You can try it yourself and figure it out. You know? A lot of YouTube creators can't resist slamming a weekly 3-hour podcast in between their normal content. Yeah, and that should always be on a different channel, because like if you have normal videos that are 20 minutes every time and then one a month is always 3 hours, people are going to be like, oh, what is this? And they're going to like shy away, you know? So you just got to keep it consistent. That's all. That's all. Yeah, Alfie, we're going to continue it. Absolutely. Find it really hard to find reliable sources since Devin doesn't upload very much anymore. He's not the only reliable source. I mean, what you have to do is you just have to not trust anyone as a reliable source. You have to read or hear a thing from one place and then go look around and see if other people are also corroborating this or not. So if someone says, oh, the YouTube algo works like this, okay, look up more videos that are very recent, that are current on that. Look up more posts in various places, more articles, you know, and you kind of have to corroborate it yourself, because a lot of people give really bad advice. Viking, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you. Thank you. Also, there are a lot of channels where their only content is giving people advice on how to make a channel or how to stream, how the algo works, whatever, but then those channels have not grown that much themselves, and it makes you wonder, do they really know what they're talking about if they haven't grown that much? Number one, kind of there's just a cap in that market, because like not that many people are always looking for this kind of advice. So there's a little bit of that. It's a little artificially, you know, it's capped. But on top of that, where's their proof that they actually have done this? You know what I mean? There's some channels that I watch and these people really do have a lot of good thoughts and ideas to share. And then there are other times where I'm like, this person just doesn't get it. They don't get it, you know? So it's a mixed bag. You should watch videos like Quite's iceberg video in one sitting. I love that video so much. Oh, I love it. I love it. A lot of people peddling their ideas of what the algo does. They always talk about algo, but I don't think it's about that personally. I think it's more about like people's behavior. And that's why my focus was always like community building and making sure I listen to the people that I'm actually streaming for, making videos for, like seeing what they say about the content and deciding based off of that.
100
you know?
Off topic, but for the train.
Yeah.
Thank you for recommending Terry Pratchett. Got The Color of Magic yesterday and finished it this morning.
Good.
Masterful prose. I recommend The Night Circus, if you haven't read it yet.
Yeah. Color of Magic is a great one to start with. I always liked, just go through all the books that go through his story, Rincewind's story. Like The Light Fantastic, you know, all those that are going to come up next. And just go through those. They're so good. Thank you for the boots. Thank you for the boots. Use it from the beginning. You were always focused on the fans, is true. Yeah, I mean, part of it's because it wasn't a job for me for so long, right? It wasn't meant to be a job. It was just a hobby. So I really only cared to have a community of people that wanted to, like, hang out. And that I wanted to hang out with, you know, and that was it. So I think, unintentionally, I created a thing that worked out really well, but the intent wasn't for it to work out really well. The intent was to build something that I wanted. You know what I mean? I think that just kind of goes to show, like, that's what matters. The viewer experience, you could say. Right? You know what I mean? If I'm hearing this right, I can expect a new YouTube channel to spin up for the Giggler. Yeah, the Giggler, it's time. Yeah, you had your full-time job back then. Yeah, exactly. I was playing games after work. I would work all day. I would wake up in the
The
morning,
Geegler.
work all day, Giggler, and then I would eat food at like 7:30, and then at 8 I would start stream, and I would stream until 2 a.m. and I would just play games and hang out. And I would do that 4 days a week. The other days were I was just working and not streaming after, or it was a full. I had like always had Saturdays off. And that was it. That was it. If it's 2 videos about YouTube while the rest is other content that does well, it can be seen as an insight. If it's a whole channel only about how to be successful on YouTube, it's a pyramid scheme to me. Not always, not always. I think some people just like enjoy talking about that stuff. It's genuinely fascinating. I'm one of those people. I just like talking about that stuff. So whenever someone asks, I'm like, oh, let me give you this. Oh, let me talk about this. You know, I love it. So some of these people, I truly believe they mean well, and they think they know what they're talking about, and they do know some because they genuinely are just reading about it and talking about it all day because they love it. That's all, right? That is true. I think a good example of one that doesn't really give streaming advice so much as they show you how to use OBS and do things with tools is Nutty. He's a dude that just makes content about making content. And he's just like, yo, I tested some new functions in OBS and how I can like automate this thing. At one point, he got one of those little standard printer machines for receipts. And he made it so that when someone subscribes, it makes a receipt for their sub and it prints it out on his desk. So he can just grab it and be like, oh, thank you. And he can read it like thank you for the 30-month resub. And their name and their sub is like, the information is printed on the receipt, right? He just does like little projects like that and makes videos about them. And that's someone who's just very honestly like having fun with it, right? He was a dev, so he just liked doing little things like that, you know? And so a lot of his stuff is in software, but that's one that he did that was out of that a little more. And yeah, he just loves that kind of shit. So, yeah, the ink. It's whatever. It's fun for the bit. Thanks for the train, guys, for the hype train. But, yeah, I think there's a lot of, there are a lot of cool people doing cool things like that, you know? When your friend streamed for 4 years and did not know studio mode existed. To be fair, I know about studio mode. I don't really use it much, though. I just set everything up beforehand, and I rarely, like, need to use it. It is good to know how, though. You should. You should know. So I bet being the guy that tweaks the weights in the YouTube backend is fun. Oh, yeah. And then, right, and then all those channels that talk about the algo start freaking out, and they're like, oh, I just noticed my shorts started doing this one thing. Look at this tiny bump with this chart. They start, like, tinfoil hatting new theories about it. It's always funny. It's so funny, man. It's true that, like, if you know what you're doing, you can just make a channel and make it work. Like you can. It doesn't mean you're going to be mega famous or make a lot of money on it, but you can make a at least slightly profitable channel if you really know what you're talking about and what you're doing. But I don't know. It's hard because a lot of the people that do know what they're doing are just working on their main thing. Like if I were starting over, I had no brand, nothing, and you were like, make a YouTube channel that will make you money. I would do hand cam voiced over videos, shorts, and for long form, like 5-minute videos of me opening toys and candy and things and reviewing them for a younger audience. Boom. Millions of views. Like that shit goes crazy. It goes crazy. And it's very specific on how you edit it, but like, I know how it works, man. I know how it works. Soap cutting. That and cafe videos, ASMR, you know? Not millions of views of money. You don't actually make that much money off of those kinds of things, but you can make it work. You can make it profitable. No business videos. I'd probably have 2 channels. I'd have that and a finance one talking about like what credit card you should buy or some shit. Comparing the top 5 credit cards on this Reddit thread or whatever the fuck. I would do that and then take credit card sponsors. And make $5 billion. You know what I mean? It's the way to do it. What about hand cam builds of Gunpla or Lego? No one cares about it, unfortunately. Actually, Lego could be okay, but it has to be exciting for a young audience to get views. If you're like, yo, it's me doing my Warhammer Lego kit for my Warhammer boys, unfortunately, it just won't get that many views. It just won't. Which is unfortunate because I wish it did. I wish it did, but it doesn't have a big enough market. You know? That's something, you know, one of my brothers a long time ago really wanted to like stream. He was he was watching a lot of streamers and he was like, I want to do that too. And then I was like, okay, what do you want to do? And he's talking about what kinds of games he wanted to play, what kind of stuff. Not Gorbulon, a different one. He won't be a streamer, I don't think, but this one. But he was talking about the kind of stuff he would want to share, and I was like, you will have no one watching that, which is okay if you're doing this for a hobby. If you're doing it for fun and you just want to find the 2 people on Twitch that want to watch that and want to talk about that game or that thing, go for it. I think you'd have a great time. But the problem was he was talking about it like he really wanted to grow, and I was like, okay, you can't grow on that though. Like, that's not gonna work. You can tell people that you like those things, and some chatters will be like, oh, I like that too. But if you play those games or make content about those things on a channel, like, nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's going to happen. And he was like, but people like it. And I was like, who's people? This game has how many Steam reviews? Like, maybe if you're already big and then you want to show a game you like, people might look. But, like, you know, when you're starting out, it's hard. And he just was so, like, it was so hard for him to come to terms with, like, how that just wouldn't, it wouldn't work out. And that made, he was just like, I don't know. He was stun locked, like, right there. He was just stuck in that thought right there and couldn't move on from it. He's like, okay. I think it was just disappointing. And I think he, like, over time, you know, understood, like, yeah, there's a big difference between doing something to grow your channel or doing something just because you like it, right? And usually something that you do just because you like it has a high chance of, like, not growing your channel. So the good thing to do is to make a Venn diagram of the two and do stuff that is in the middle, and then a little bit of stuff you just like, you know, like you do a little bit of that too. Like, you know, the stream's not going to do well, people don't like this game, but I'm going to play it anyway. You do that for yourself here and there, that's fine. But if you do all that, it's not going to work out, you know. It's tough, man. You mentioned that about how you enjoy some CRPGs, but you only play those offline. Yeah, yep. I love them, but, you know, I'm not about to crack open Icewind Dale on stream and be like, oh man, people are gonna love this 40-hour playthrough of Icewind Dale. Like, there are some games that I really like that I just won't play on stream for that reason. I'm like, I stream in that Venn diagram, you know, and I sometimes reach out of it into the, oh, this is just for me zone, right? Like when I did like my long Zelda marathons, so many people just want to play Zelda games themselves so they don't watch it, you know? And I was like, well, I really want to play it. I'm just going to do it anyway. I know this isn't going to grow shit. I know this is going to plateau. That's okay. I'm just going to do it, you know? So like, I have my moments where I definitely do shit like that. But there's a balance, man. There's a balance. Never winter nights time. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Ugh. I think you previously talked about doing some of that stuff on alt. Yeah, if I feel like it. Honestly, what I do on alt right now is just the stuff that I spend the most time doing in my own time anyway. Like, if I'm not streaming on either channel, I'm probably not gaming that much. I'm probably working or doing, like, real life stuff. And if I'm going to be gaming off stream, you know, I'm just playing a lot of GTA still, right? So that's why that's what's there. If I played less of that and I just started, like, playing other shit off stream a lot more, then that's what would be on the alt channel. That's all. So you got here for the Zelda Breath of the Wild stuff? Yeah, my master mode runs. It was fun. It was fun. I loved it. If the game is bad enough, there are a lot of Kusuke connoisseurs on Twitch. Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Like, it's not about games being bad. It's just about, like, there being no reason for anyone to watch it. There are a lot of games that are they're so good, but they're, like, play only, not watch. You know what I mean? I think CRPGs, a lot of them are like that. Absolutely. And that's how I feel. There are a lot of games I'll recommend to chat, and I'll be like, oh, I love this game. You should play it. It's so good. They're like, you should stream it. And I'm like, no, this game is for, like, I become sludge in my chair, I say nothing, and I just play that for 5 hours. Like, that's what that kind of game is for sometimes. I'm not going to stream that, you know? But I also recommend a lot of those because they're really good. Really, really good. You remember trying to catch up on Vaz and there was a billion Breath of the Wild bots? I played the whole
I
damn thing.
considered streaming as a hobby at one point, being full-timer myself, and then just do your hobby on the side as a way to just want to break out of my comfort zone, or just to get into the swing of things that I enjoy as a hobby.
Yeah.
I was introduced to your channel by a YouTube rec that didn't line up with baking a cake, but you was just vibing in a chair and chatting, and it got me sort of nostalgic.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have done that, where they've like been like, I should just stream as a hobby, which honestly you should. Like, if you want to just hang out and play games and you're like, it would be nice if someone watched, I'd prefer that over just playing alone, then just hit go live. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I think people should do that. But consider, do you need to stream this on Twitch? Or would it be a better experience for you if you just were involved in a Discord community and in some way, shape, or form, and you just would show up in VCs and just like hang out and play a game next to other people that are also hanging out and playing games? You know what I mean? I know a lot of people they just want that like mild social interaction. They don't want to build a community of people that they can't like speak back and forth with. Because you can talk to a chat, but it's different from being in a VC or something, right? Like, some people just want to vibe like that. And I think instead of streaming, a lot of the time you should just like, have a Discord with friends, or not to shill it in this moment, but I truly mean it. My own Discord, we have a lot of people every day that just sit in VC and play games together like that. And it's almost like they're streaming to each other, but they're all just playing things and hanging out in the same VC next to each other. That's really it, And it's really, really, really nice to be able to do. So sometimes like going live is the right answer. Sometimes that's actually the right answer for a lot of people. Like, they don't really want to stream. They just want to like share something. You know what I mean? So I think that's the way to go, honestly. And that's what I do sometimes when I'm playing things off stream. I sit in a VC with friends and I just play in there, and like we all say like nothing. Occasionally someone says something and a conversation starts up, and then the conversation dies, and then we're just gaming and we're just chilling. And it's really nice. I live for that. So, you started streaming by streaming Ocarina of Time to one of your best friends. Yeah, I was doing when I started out, I was doing like nostalgic stuff, either old games that I wanted to replay really badly, or old games that I hadn't played before. I think for the most part, it was mostly replays, and I just wanted to go back and play like GameCube era stuff. So I did some N64 stuff, and then there were some indie games. I was like, guys, I'm also really into little indie games. Let's start just like testing some of the demos. And then I was like, I also really like roguelikes, so I'll play Super Mario Sunshine Wednesday, and then Thursday we're gonna try out this deck builder and just see if we like it. And like I just did shit I liked, and that was it. And it worked out. You wouldn't even know how to just jump into a VC. Honestly, the way to do it, if you're like, you don't want to jump in the deep end, hit the mute button before you go in. So your mic is auto muted. People see you're muted. Go into the VC and don't say a word. If people are just sitting there and people go in and out and they're not like addressing everyone who comes in, it's just if they talk, they address you, you can just sit there and listen. And like, if you have something to say at some point, you can unmute and say something. And if you have said nothing to say, you can just sit there just to get comfortable with it. You can also type in the chat. There are a lot of people that listen and then they just type because they just can't bring themselves to speak on the mic yet, So, yeah, like you just said, right? Like the text chat that's for VCs. Yeah, you just open the little chat bubble and you do that. If everyone addresses you, yeah, they say welcome in. You don't have to say anything. You can just lurk. Lurking is okay. I would say do that if like you're like nervous about VCs, because a lot of people are. You said you wanted to do that for other people, and you played Rock Band 3 on Zen server. Yeah. Stuff like that is always fun. There are a lot of people that'll sit around and play shooters. I've said it before. I'll say it again. If you go in the Discord, you do your couple of steps that you have to do to be able to access everything. If you scroll down to the VCs, there's one VC at the bottom, and it has a little plus sign emoji, and it says create a VC. If you click on that, it puts you in a newly created VC with yourself, and you can rename it. So you can make a VC and name it like playing Rock Band 3, come listen, or whatever, or just be like classic music, whatever you want to call it, classic rock. you title it, and then you just sit in there and you screen share whatever you're screen sharing, and people will see it and be like, oh yeah, I want to watch that thing, and click. Right? So many people do that. There you go. There you go. Streaming started to have your friends hold you accountable for going through the games you said you'd finish, and now you made tons of friends through it. Yeah. That's actually, I know a lot of people that started like that. Streaming meant that there were going to be VODs, which meant that people could tell if they were getting through games or not. And even if other people weren't paying attention to that so much, they would look back at their own VODs and be like, yeah, I'm not really getting through my shit, am I? You know, and they would pressure them to kind of go back and finish a game. And a lot of people felt good about that. So there were a lot of streamers that was kind of their start. Yeah. A lot of the smaller ones especially. You know, I think it's nice. So mad you had to choose a faction suddenly. I don't care. You have to pick one. You have to pick one in the Discord. You've gotta. You know why? It's worked every time. When we wouldn't make people pick factions and it was optional, we had so many people that were like, ooh, I'm so different. And I'm going to go into the general chat, and the first thing I'm going to say is about how I'm so different and I'm not picking a faction. They'd be like, yeah, I'm not picking one, haha. And like, no one cared. But they would like say it because they were so different and random. Haha, lol, you know? And it was just a vibe that wasn't even like a problem. It was just a little annoying all the time, you know? It was just a little annoying. And I was like, it's whatever. But here's the thing. Yeah, they're trying to be the main character a little bit sometimes. Some of them would just say that and then never say anything related to that. Some people would say that, and then anytime anyone brought up factions or whatever, they just like have to insert themselves and be like, I didn't pick one. And we're like, okay.
All right. I am your conscience,
you know?
And undead is the best faction redeemed.
Thank you, Phoenix. So it was just one of those things where I was like, they're not doing anything like in a vacuum that's awful, but it's just like, it was just odd. It was odd. And then what I found was, if someone refused to pick a faction, it wasn't necessarily meaning that they were going to do something bad. However, whenever we did have to kick someone from the server because like their vibes were really off, almost 100% of the time, they were someone who was being edgy about not picking a faction when they first joined the server as well. It was like a 1-to-1 correlation. And I was like, what is that? It was so many people. It was a lot of data to corroborate this, okay? It was like, you know, it didn't mean that if you didn't pick a faction that you were gonna be weird, but if someone was weird and we had to remove them from the server, almost always they were one of those. And I was like, what? Okay, noted. So now I've added a thing. I've added a layer that when you go to the Discord, you just have to pick one. And it's okay if you don't care about like which one you are so much. You just pick the color you like. It doesn't matter. You just click a button and no one's going to bother you about it after that, you know? But if someone like refuses to do that, they're so like contrarian and nonconformist that they don't want to pick a faction in a Discord that they don't even have to interact in if they don't want to. That shows a level of like, I don't know, it's a level of like being difficult that I don't want around. You know what I mean? Like if it bothers you that much, then you're like raging over it, then I'm like, I don't think we need that. Like a little contrarian is okay, but when you're like absolutely refusing, I'm like, But you can still be in the Discord and not pick one. You just can't see every channel, but you can still use it just for announcements. So I didn't completely lock those people out. It's just like, you know, if they want to hang out, they want to be in VCs, all these things, they have to show a willingness to at least just be like, whatever, I'll pick a color. You know what I mean? This is something we didn't do immediately. This is like over a lot of time. It slowly got to that point, but I've realized that doing something as simple as making people go through the test of, are they okay with just picking a color? Actually filters a lot of people in a good way. I don't know why it works so well. I kind of do, but I kind of don't. But it's so strong how much it's helped. It's a little crazy. From the description, It said, you think from the description, it's either wanting to wait to see who's the winning side, not wanting to conform at all, or being a straight up troll. Mayhaps a mixture of all the above. Yeah, the thing is, there's no like winning side because it's balanced. So if you read the FAQ on it, like if they were looking to see like, oh, which one should I pick and reading, they would see that whichever one wins each month gets all their extra buffs wiped. And if you are like in third, your faction was in third one month, and the next month you have it's a stacking monthly buff, okay? So they would see that there is no winning side, right? If they read. So that first point, it means that they didn't read. Not wanting to conform at all is probably what it is for a lot of those people. And I think like if they're completely unwilling to conform to something that doesn't matter, like just picking a name color, right? If they're completely unwilling to conform to that system, then it shows this level of like stubbornness that is gonna be a problem. You know, like in a community where you have to just do what's right for like everyone and not yourself because you're sharing a space together. If you are that level of difficult and stubborn, you're not going to have a good time in a big community. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where I'm like, yeah, we got to unfortunately filter out anyone who's like just really like that level of difficult. You know, it sucks, but that's how it's got to be. Frozen Shark, thank you for the prime. Thank you. But yeah, so now the TLDR, our simple system of not letting people see everything in the Discord until they pick a faction really worked out. It worked out really well. It doesn't bounce out that many people, but the few that it does, it's usually, you know, those people were a problem in the past. For sure. Yes, per faction behavior, it's interesting. Creatures are usually less populated, but they also represent the majority of active users that do dailies. Yeah, I've noticed. I've looked at how some of the stuff has gone, and it's very interesting. It's very interesting. The creatures are, yeah, it's definitely like a smaller faction number-wise, count-wise, but very active. Very active. Speaking of, Red, thank you for the bits. Our lovely monsters mascot. You know, he used to not have shorts on because his like art, that character, he's got like a little loincloth in the front. So someone made that and they were like, you should put it on the screen. And I was like, I don't think I can. So they drew him shorts. They made him little shorts. Oh, what a shame. What a shame. I couldn't put his bare ass on the screen though. That'd be crazy for Twitch. Crazy. And I could be like, oh, but he's covering the front, but they don't care. They don't care. That's why you picked it. That's my faction. That's my faction, man. Yeah, TOS compliant shorts. Exactly. Exactly. We see some of the mob army stats. Like how many are in the faction, how many do dailies, how many offerings and such. Maybe at some point. For right now, no. But at some point we could do a report, maybe. Thing is, that means that I have to go to people that do all this stuff and maintain this stuff for free and be like, make a report because someone wanted to. And that means extra work. So if they want to do it, they can do it. But I will leave that ball in their court. because then I'm just like, hey, put together a report, do analytics for free. You know what I mean? So that's up to them. That's up to the dev team. I'm gonna make Roomcat do it. Yeah, no. No, he does enough. He does so much. No. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. I like when something massive happens in GTA and Oshi comes and drops a stat about the GTA no pixel message count. Yeah. The other week, I've been like playing just a little less to give myself a break because I was playing so much for like a 2-3 week period because so much was happening on the server. And the number of messages during that time was I can't even tell you. It was fucking insane, the number of messages being sent. People were crashing out over every little thing. Every little thing. It was that chat to this day is so fucking active. It's crazy. And I know that there are some things where I can like hop on the server for an hour and just like make everyone spiral out and then log off and just let them spiral for forever. It's so funny. It is so funny. That GTA channel is its own world. It is. I've always kept, you know, ever since we swapped all that content over to the alt channel, I kept those two worlds of content very separate from each other. So like this channel just doesn't really have any of that at all, but then the alt channel's like all that. And it's like, I have like 2 separate communities now. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. But I'm glad people are so into things. I am. Rune Cat. Oh, I feel you. Right here, I have food here. I need to make sure I eat. You said 2 years of mainly generating reports was the work you did? Ugh. Yeah. Man, while I love using a lot of the tools that analysts use to be able to discern things from data, when you have a job where you just have to generate reports and hand them in and generate and hand them in, generate and hand them in, it's so mind-numbing. But at the same time, I kind of found like some solace in that because it was so easy. I could turn my brain off, so it didn't really drain me mentally at all. I would spend time doing it. I could get paid for something like that, but I felt fresh at the end of doing that still. So if I wanted to work on a passion project, I really could, you know? So I didn't mind doing work like that. Unfortunately, I didn't get to be in a mind-numbing, easy job for too long, so it was fucked up. I ended up having to do work that uses my brain a bit more, but yeah, I always wished I had more autopilot type work. Exactly. I wish. Some people don't go on autopilot for that, though. It really depends on the person. But for me, I did. Are the GEEGA and not GEEGA audiences fairly split? Somewhat, but actually no. No, I would say like, let's say there's 700 average that day. I'm playing GTA on not GEEGA. 500 of those people are like my normal core audience that show up here anyway. They just talk more over there, but they're still here. And then a couple extra 100 are people that might only show up for the GTA stuff. But it's still very intermixed still. There's a lot of people in this chat that do watch both. I just find that they code switch, so you might think that like a lot of the folks you're around right now like may not watch it because they don't say anything. But if you ask the chat a question about something really specific about my journey in GTA, that like a lot of them here would be able to answer it. They'd be like, actually, the other day she was doing this. You could see her on this person's POV doing this thing. And they'll just tell you, you know? So there's quite a big overlap. They just code switch. It really interestingly, you know, one of the reasons why I stuck with it for so long was because when I first joined that server, a lot of my viewers that I had before that only knew me through Variety, a lot of them used to watch GTA RP when it was like popping 2 years prior, 3 years prior. So they knew a lot about that server that I was playing on. So it's a lot of the same people, to be honest. It really is. They were just there for like both. That's all. A VP of UI UX design here, currently waiting some Google Analytics data to compile. Absolutely is both mind-numbing work, but oddly interesting because you realize the weirdest shit from it, like some 65-plus-year-old women from Montana buying certain power tools. Yeah, exactly. That's why I like that kind of work, yeah, because I think it's nice to think about the world that way. To think about stats, to think about analytics, not to quantify everything, to boil everything down into just numbers, but it's good to keep your brain in that mode. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I noticed a lot of patterns in the world since doing that type of stuff. Oh my god, I heard a floorboard creak. I thought my cat was on the way, and I was right. I can whip my head because a certain floorboard creaks, and I know it's him. That's scary. Tony brought you here and you're not leaving? Yeah. That was another thing too, is when I first started playing on that server, a lot of the people that I met right in the beginning had really nice communities. Like genuinely some of the nicest chatters, and having a lot of these new people come in that were just so normal and nice was really nice. I enjoyed what it was doing to my chat, so I purposefully overstayed my welcome by doing that a little more on the main channel, because I wanted to make sure I was really solidifying a lot of those folks settling in here. I wanted my chat to have a lot of those people settle in, because it was great. And I'll be honest, it's a more normal quote-unquote audience. Not saying a lot of those people individually are very normal, but they act normally, you know. Some of them are still freaks, but I find that I wanted to have a mix. If my audience was like only people that watched VTubers, I was starting to go crazy. Okay, to be honest, I was starting to go a little crazy, because there would be people in here. Something would happen in some like random VTuber A's life, and I don't watch everyone and know what everyone's doing. I'm not so deep in the rabbit hole that I'm like a generic VTuber super fan. I know everything that's going on, but people would come in here and they'd be like, "Did you see this thing happen? Did you see this group doing this? Did you see these people are doing that?" And I'm like, I don't know. I want to play Oblivion, you know. Like I would be like, and it's not even that I hate this. It's not like I don't care, but I'm just like, we're talking about bicycles right now, you know. And I was like, oh, I was going a little crazy. And I find that once I had more people come in that were like not so deep in that hole, and there was a mix, a lot of those folks calmed down. They stayed, but they calmed down, you know. And it's okay to be deep in it. I just think they would be in a community of people that were also deep in it, so they would think that like I really cared to hear about all of this. And I'd be like, hey man, I don't even hate this. I just really want to talk about sidewalks and how I really hate the way they're building them nowadays, or whatever we were talking about, you know? So it was very, I think it's refreshing, like no matter what community you're in, to have a mix. And on the other side, if you have a community and like none of them watch VTubers, you're gonna have another problem where when a VTuber shows up on screen, they're like, ew, L VTuber, ew. And sometimes the streamer's like, what's wrong? But their chat is like freaking out and they're like, oh. You know, because they realize that they don't have like differently minded people in their chat. So I don't know. I just always wanted to have like a mix of people that feel very differently about different things. That way we collectively don't go crazy, you know? Yeah, I don't like that. You said VTuber only audiences are cringe. No, that's not what we're saying. The word cringe isn't what's going on there. It's just that they get overexcited, and then when they are surrounded by people that like the same things as them, which is not just unique to that community, but to all communities. When you're surrounded by people that all like the same things, people get lost in the sauce. That's all. People get lost in the sauce, and they start to think that people are a lot like them. Everyone's like them. They get this skewed view of the internet, like there's so many people that are just like them. And then when they see something different, audiences that are not very varied, they see something different and they go, ew. Whereas I'm like, hey, you could just be like, oh, not for me. But no, they start going, ew. And then when there are a lot of people in the chat, again, that are like-minded, they're like, haha, yeah, ew. And it becomes bad. It goes from like saying you don't like a thing to being like gross and nasty about it or something. So I much prefer an audience that's got a lot of different people that like a lot of different things. Know what I mean? It's much better. Much better. Much better. Yeah, this space is a bubble, but someone let that bubble define them. Exactly. You need to have some people in here that will throw fucking curveballs at each other, right? Someone will be like, I love VTubers, and then someone else will be like, I kind of like them, but I'm not like into them as a whole, just certain ones. And I don't want to tell either of those people to get out. I want both of them to sit there and exist next to each other and go, oh, okay, all right, and just be okay with each other. You know what I mean? So that's what I always go for. So that's kind of what I liked about playing on like NoPixel, honestly, was that I got so many viewers in here that were just wildly different from some of the ones I already had, and it just kind of balanced things nicely, you know? That's why I love doing shared chat with chats that are so different from this one. It's a little spooky at first, but then everyone kind of like figures out how to get along, and it's cute. Like when I like when the Sprouts were in here. We were sharing a chat with the Sprouts, with the Saikuno viewers, and it's a bunch of nice girls doing like a ton of emotes, and then everyone else here was like, It's funny to watch everyone like figure it out, man. I love it. Shared chat is super nice. I love shared chat, I do. Typical reaction to women being perfectly normal, I know. It's more like they were afraid because some of their jokes, they were like, is this too much for that community? It was really funny. The Sprouts demanding ads will never not be charming. It's so cute, right? Every time they rate, so for whatever reason, Sykkuno's community has this thing where they want ads. They want him to play ads because they know, number one, a lot of them are subbed, so they'll be okay. Number two, they're like, you should make money. Don't feel bad. Play an ad. Okay? They'll say stuff like that. And so they have a little ads emote that they'll spam, and they'll be like, feed us ads, feed us now. And he'll be like, okay, /commercial 90, you know? And they'll be like, yes. And then all the subs start like spamming their emotes. And it's cute. They turned it into like a fun thing. And it encourages more people to sub if they actually are spending a lot of time there. And it's nice. It's a positive thing, you know? So now, whenever we get rated here, they're like, play us an ad, please, please, play an ad. So I see them, I'm like, /commercial 60. It's cute. It's hilarious and wholesome. Yeah, it is. I mean, like, that's the way I feel when I really like a streamer. I'm like, hey, you want to play an ad? You want to make more money? I'll sit here and watch it, or I'll sub or whatever. Like, I'm happy to do that. So they're just kind of showing that is a nice thing. You know, it doesn't have to be like, doesn't have to be awful. Or that time Harry was juicing the ads. Yeah, when he was getting chat hoppers, he was getting haters in his chat, being annoying. So he just kept going, I'm going to juice it. And he kept playing ads over and over. So all the non-subs were just stuck in ad hell for a solid like 10 minutes. It was so funny. Oh, it was so fucking funny, man. It was good. I mean, that's what you do, right? When like people come in and they say mean shit, like if you ever get brigaded for any reason, just juice it, man. Just juice the ads. Just type /commercial and then a number of seconds and it'll do it. You know? That's how you do it, man. Give us an hour of ads. That's literally the Sprout mindset. It's cute though. I like it. It's nice. Remember sharing with Show's chat? They were not ready for the jokes. They weren't ready, but they like got it. They adapted. They adjusted. You know. Once they realized the context, they were like, "Oh my god, this joke." Okay. Like, once they got past the confusion, you know. That was funny. Remember one time Heavenly and Zen were sharing chat, and Heavenly told his chat to go watch Zen so he could play ads for a minute. Yeah. Oh, it's so funny. You've seen a bot raid once? The most did a fine job switching the chat to 15-minute followers mode. Honestly, yeah, I say it all the time. Like, I remember when there was a time where like VTubers were getting like these hate raids a lot. Like, this was like 3 years ago. And there was some nefarious individual or group or whatever, was making these bots that would go in and just raid a channel. And they kept targeting VTuber channels, and they would come into chat and they would spam like really hateful shit and try to get that person banned or just like give them a hard time. And everyone was freaking out, and they were like, oh my god, what do we do? And they were like making guides on Twitter of like, here's what you should do in case this happens. And I was like, brother, just press followers only mode and set it to 15 minutes. Make a button on your stream deck, or just like have Notepad with the / whatever you need to have set up like ready so you can copy paste it, and then do /commercial 90. That's it. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to freak out. They were making guides and they were like, just make sure you breathe, make sure you stay calm, do not answer them. I was like, brother, just press 2 buttons. What do you mean? Like, they were freaking out, and I was like, you don't need to. You see like 3 spammed messages, it's clear. You see all these follows from bots or whatever. You got 2 buttons, right? Commercial, so you turn on an ad, and followers only 15 minutes. Boom. You know, easy. So easy. Was that not against TOS back then? What specifically? What do you mean that? Followers only 0 minutes is a great filter for almost all the weirdos. Honestly, yeah, you don't usually need to do more than that. Put followers only on, but don't set a time limit. Make it so that if anyone immediately hits follow, they can chat. You do that, and you will get way way fewer people saying weird shit. Way fewer. It filters like 90% of them, honestly. You don't need to do anything else, man. There's a button for it on the stream dashboard nowadays. Yeah, they added shield mode so people have a clickable button. You like Polish food, or what's your favorite? I just like kielbasa. That's my favorite. Is that Polish? I feel like it is. I think. Make sure you're 10 toes down. You have plenty of water nearby. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Said I have my favorites, but mostly don't mind VTubers. It's not really different than watching a Flash streamer. Yeah, it's really not. I'd say the branding, the overall experience could be a little different, but like the act of watching a stream is just watching a stream, man. Always wonders, there's some sort of button you have to push as a streamer if you get a massive bot following. No, you can report it. You can report one of the bot accounts to Twitch. You can report like their overall thing, and their profile, and be like, this is a bot rate, and then in the description you write like, this is just one of like 10,000 follows I got today, and I'm pretty sure they're all bots. That way they have it on record. But you don't really need to. Like, typically, Twitch just auto-detects bots, and over time will prune them. So if you get follow rated by a bunch of bots, and like 500 of them, all with similar names, follow you all at once, you can just wait, and then over time they'll eventually just get pruned. You'll just at some point see your follower count go back down by that same number, approximately. So you don't have to do anything, really. That's it. Sorry also helps with that. You don't need any bots to manage this stuff, to be honest. Twitch has it all built in nowadays. Would you say there was a guy at Ari's meet and greet at WeebCon who recorded you during your turn and was saying she ain't gonna let you hit that? People pay plenty of money to be scumbags. Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, like, there are people out there. There's not a lot of them, but there's always enough that you'll see them. There are people out there that do that. Like, they just want to be an asshole, and they like, I guess they just feel like so good about themselves or something when they're like one-upping someone, when they're putting someone else down. They're just those people. And yeah, they do shit like that all the time. We do see it a lot at meet and greets, where there are people who will stand in the background, and, you know, while everyone's online, you have one person up, you're sitting there talking to them, whatever. There will be people in the background sometimes who'll be like, fucking VTuber, right? They'll just try to like say something. They'll just yell something. It always happens. I find at certain conventions it happens a lot less, because honestly everyone's there for the same stuff. They're there for anime and gaming, and usually they're okay with VTubers if they're okay with both of those, you know. But yeah, they're always assholes, man. Yeah, exactly, like Malefic. Yeah, I mean, it's what can you do? What can you do, really? I think the best thing is to not give him much of a reaction, to just be like, okay, and keep talking. I do think it's gotten so much better over time, though. I gotta say, the past like year, I haven't had anyone do anything weird at any event I've been at. Even walking around at TwitchCon on a little robot, driving around, it's nothing but people coming up to me like, oh, that's cool. Oh, what is that? Like not hearing any weird comments. Not saying no one's thinking it, but like not getting people being assholes. For the past like year, I haven't had a single instance of it. Net people will still be like that in certain Twitch chats and things or whatever, but not like in person have I ever had that issue. I thought TwitchCon Vegas was pretty chill. Yeah, it's a lot better. It's a lot better. Goes to anime convention, bullies the anime people. Yeah, like, what was that dude thinking, right? That's one of those scenarios where I'm like, you're literally in a room of people that all are like, what the fuck, bro? Like, I think people do that to people that they think won't hit them. Straight up. I think they know that, like, on average, people at cons are going to be like, I'm not going to fight you. I'm better than that. Right? So they're like, oh, so I will say some bullshit in this con because these people aren't going to fight me. They wouldn't do that in some other events because they know people would fucking fight them. That's the thing. You know, this community on average is, like, non-violent, so they feel really empowered to be weird. They're too soft. Yeah, not all of them are like that, so we'll see. We'll see. You do feel many people act out like that because they feel that due to VTubers being digital at cons, there's no real repercussions since the person isn't physically there. Yeah, a lot of the stuff people say to or about VTubers, I think they would never say if that person were in front of them in person. Because some VTubers do that. They do physically go to events. You know, they have a model, whatever, but they also like wear a mask and show up, or some just show their faces, right? They just are okay with it. For the most part, when people do that, they report almost no one making fun of them for being a VTuber. Almost nobody. Because they see a real person. I think people are just really okay with like being mean to things that they can't see. This is why people really mean on the internet, right? When there's just some username, some profile, or they're not being seen because they're not physically in front of them, they're like really okay with doing that. So I think that carries over when they're at a con, and one party is there. So like that person is physically there, but you, the VTuber, aren't. You're on a screen. You feel not real to them, so they're very okay being like, oh, something, saying some shitty thing. But yeah, whenever both people are physically there, almost no one says anything. You know? Reminds me so much of the movie Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back because of how they react to anonymous hate comments online. Yeah. It's like a banger scene too. Ugh. What are your thoughts on VTubers going in person but not tweeting about it and then getting mad when other streamers mention hanging out with them? I think that's totally fair depending on how they go about it. I think TLDR, if you go, people can't help talking, and usually they slip up. They don't mean to. But if you go to something, you're putting yourself at risk for others mentioning that you're there. And you just have to accept that. You can't get so angry about it. But if you go anonymously to an event, you're incognito. You don't tell your community or anyone publicly that you're there. You talk to some people while you're there, and anyone you meet in person, you're like, hey, I'm here, but I'm not telling anyone publicly. Hey, I'm incognito. If you say that and then people still mention it, yeah, you're allowed to be mad. Absolutely. Some people slip up, and that's fine. That's fine, because you put yourself at risk for people to slip up. Okay? All right? I tell people, just don't go. If that would bother you that much, just don't go. Or go, but not to the event. Go somewhere else where you're not going to be seen in public with them, right? Let's say everyone's meeting up in city A for an event. Okay, you go to like nearby city B and you go do something with them over there, like the day before the event or after the event or during the event, if you just come up with like a day when everyone could go out and do this other thing. And you hang out and you get to see them, but you're not going somewhere where them mentioning that they saw you means like you're going to be seen in pictures. People could find you. You know what I mean? Like there's so many other ways to still see people. I just see people outside of events entirely. I'm just like, let's set something up to go somewhere together, or you know, hey, I'm going out to this place for this other reason. Since I'm already out there and I know you're in that location, do you want to meet up? And just do normal meetups outside of the event schedule. And I think that's way smarter. That's way smarter. Or there are plenty of events where I've just been like, you know what? Since I know all my friends are traveling at that time, we'll organize to, instead of everyone directly flies to that event, I go meet them in a different place, and we spend one day together in an entirely different place, kind of all centralized. And we hang out for a day or a night or whatever. And then after that, we all go our separate ways. Some people go to an event, some people go to see family, some people go just back home, whatever. But since everyone's already kind of traveling, you kind of like piggyback it onto that time, you know? And that's how I've done it a lot of times, is I'll go see people kind of like before they head out to a thing, or after, or even during, like somewhere like an hour away or something like that, you know? I think people should just do that more if they really don't want to like have that risk, you know? You know what I mean? I think it's way better. Incognito is such a good word. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. A lot of people meet dozens of content creators. Sometimes the one person who hadn't said they were going slips through. Yeah, people just, you know, they don't mean to sometimes. That's just how it is. Bruce. Did you finish it? Did you finish the 24 hours? Chat, if any of you were here yesterday or if any of you weren't, we played Oblivion for like 10 hours and then we raided Bruce because Bruce was doing like a 24-hour Oblivion marathon. And now we've come full circle and we're getting raided back. I hope it was fun. Hope it was fun, man. Hope it went well. Hope you had a good time, man. We're gonna play more. We're gonna play more soon. We're gonna start. Yeah, we're gonna continue the party, man. We're gonna do it. I have my character's name is Big Papa, and he looks so disgusting. He looks so gross. He looks like Dark Elf Wario. He's awful. We were just chatting, we're hanging out before I hop into Oblivion. We were talking about, someone asked if about VTubers going to cons. And I was saying, a lot of us go virtually, right? But we don't go physically. Some people are totally fine being seen, and some people are like, no, I'm not gonna be seen ever, you know? And so we were just talking about what about those ones that go? They don't tell anyone they're going. They tell everyone they're going secretly. Don't mention me, and then their friends mention them anyway. What do we feel about that? You know? That was the topic before you raided in. But we were discussing I was saying, yo, if you're one of those content creators, let's say you're no face cam, no one's seen you, you're just a voice, and you don't ever want to be seen. Just don't go to TwitchCon. That's what I was trying to say. Just don't go. Go plan a ski trip on the opposite side of the year, the opposite side of the calendar with your friends. Go do that ski trip. And then you can see them, you know? It's okay. That's what I was trying to say. Our Big Papa and Tina Turner siblings. Do you guys want to see my character? I'll show you. Fuck it, let's open the game. We were pretty much already there anyway. It was about time. I'll show you Big Papa. He's so beautiful. Here, let's turn off the BGM. I won't say he looks like Tina Turner, but he's got vibes, okay? He's got vibes that kind of are getting there, is how I'll say it.